Hello everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 269. Nice. I have topics. I'm looking at a list of topics to talk about. I don't like any of them. They're all bad. But I'm committed. Firelight, hello. Yawn sounds like it's a long day for me. Yeah, and it's Saturday too. You think I'd be all relaxed and stuff, but no, I am actually just, I've got that fat-headed thing going on where I'm just exhausted. I had some time off of work for the holidays, and I went back to work this week, and yeah, it's kind of exhausting. Although it's interesting that every time I take vacation, for any extended, for like a week or more, right? I always think to myself, you know what? I know not everybody is, but me, I'm gonna be just fine with retirement. I know some people like go stir crazy. Not I. No, if I didn't have to work, totally fine. No problems there whatsoever. Chicago says, so did the apartment manager take your rent check? He did. And I figured out how to actually set up the renter's portal. The website that they have can be scrolled. So you would think that there'd be a renter's, click here to log in, like in the menus in the upper right. No, you actually have to scroll down the page to get to the renter's portal option. And it's not a page that it looks like a splash screen. It doesn't look like it scrolls. So, but I'm set up for next month, so they were fine with checks. But you see, the problem with being okay with retirement is I will probably not retire. At least I, like I'm sure many others, the trajectory that I'm on is I'm not going to be able to retire. I'm going to have to work till I die. Because I'm looking at like my retirement, my 401k, and what Social Security is, and I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, yeah, that's not going to be enough to live on. Unless something major happens with various social services or cost of living or whatnot in the next 25 years or so. Yeah, I ain't retiring at 65. And I imagine that's the same for a lot of people. It's kind of like buying a house. That ain't happening. I ain't buying a house. The things that I grew up assuming. I just grew up assuming you go to school, then you go to college, you get a job, you buy a house, and then you retire. That may have been accurate for some people at one point, but it's certainly seemingly not accurate for me, and I'm guessing many, 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 many others today. Oh well. Chicago says, screw that, I'm looking forward to retirement. I hope Firelight and I can just road trip through the U.S. checking out the sites. That would be fun. That'd be very cool. If I had unlimited disposable income and there were no pandemic, one of the things I would do is visit the various theme parks of the world. I love theme parks. I love Disneyland and Six Flags and Universal Studios and the ones that aren't big names. I love that kind of stuff. And I would like to see what the ones I've never been to, which is most of them, have to offer. But that is an extraordinarily expensive proposition. One, park admissions are very high, and there's the cost of travel, lodging, food, all kinds of stuff. So that's not likely. But I've been wanting to go to Disneyland since the last time I went to Disneyland, and I never bothered, even though I've lived in California for like 15 years now. And it's partially I have no one to go with, and theme parks, as much as I like them, not particularly fun by yourself. I enjoy restaurants, or enjoyed at least in the before times. I enjoyed restaurants and going to the movies by myself. That's totally fine. But theme parks, I've been on roller coasters by myself. They're just not as fun. That and the price for Disneyland, the admission. Not only does the admission just go up and up and up, like now I think it's like $125 for admission to Disneyland or something like that. Not only that, it's like $30 just to park. And at some point I was like, it's just not worth it anymore. I mean, especially if you wanted to go with someone else. Now you're getting ludicrously expensive. But, oh well. Firelight says, if these are thoughts running through your head, I understand why now today wasn't restful for you. Yeah, Chicago says, the only way I'd visit theme parks is if I were rich. Yeah, going to a theme park now is something that is like a planned it's like some people, it's like, man, I want to go spend 2 weeks in Europe. For us Americans, I want to, visit all kinds of stuff there and see the sights. And I've been saving up several $1,000s over several years to take the. Now it's like I'm saving up a couple $1,000s over a couple years just so we can go to Disneyland for a weekend. So. Oh well. Firelight in the before times. 2019. BC 19, that's right. So it's you might have, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw this, but Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, that came out on Disney Plus a couple months ago. I watched it. I enjoyed it. They added an audio commentary from the director and someone else at least a few weeks ago. And I tried watching it, and I was surprised to see that there was just no commentary. No one was talking. And I scrubbed through the movie, and I could not find a single point where there was anyone talking. It was just the regular film soundtrack. And I was like, well, that's... There's either some technical issue here where there's just no audio commentary, or the director has nothing to say. Alexis, oh, that's a good shot. That's like the entire audio commentary. So I tried. Disney's has absolutely no customer service. Basically, you have to fill out a form, and if there's no way to actually really ask a question, you have to pick things out of a drop-down list, and there's no audio commentary is missing. So you just say I had to. I think I went with episode is missing. It's like the closest I can get. So we'll see if Disney Plus ever gets back to me. And I posted on Twitter. I was like, hey, is this just me? Is anyone seeing audio commentary in Shang-Chi? Anyone who has Disney Plus? Because I've tried it on my PC and my PS4, and there's just nothing there. And someone said, oh, I found it. You have to turn on the subtitles. And I fired up Disney Plus, and I went into the audio commentary for Shang-Chi, and I turned on the English subtitles, and by gum, there's the written commentary. I'm like, well, that's not an audio commentary, which is exactly how it's advertised on the service. Audio commentary. So I thought about it. I looked at my audio options, which I had looked at before, but there's only two options. There's English, which is just playing the movie, and then there's English brackets audio descriptions. which to me means exactly what that in every other context signifies, is some other voice explaining what's on screen for the sight impaired. Shang-Chi enters a room and sits at a table. Shang-Chi and other people are punching each other. Shang-Chi gets in a taxi. You know, it's an extra audio option for sight impaired folk. If you select the audio commentary feature for the movie, and then you go into your audio options and turn on English brackets audio description, then, my dear friends, then you can listen to the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings audio commentary. Which is not intuitive, I would say. But thank you to Franco Castaneda on Twitter for pointing me in the right direction on how to get that to work. So everyone slow clap for Disney. Good job, Disney. Jared talking about theme parks, you also have to pay $50 for a burger and fries. Yeah, food is really expensive. What are you going to do? Leave the entire park and go somewhere else? Well, you'd have to pay another $30 to park again when you got back, and you'd lose like 2 hours in a place where you already spent $130 to get into. Yeah, so they've got you by the uncomfortable fleshy bits. Chicago, did the director forget to turn on his mic? The commentary is just him nodding and pointing, yeah. So anyway, at my leisure, I can now listen to the audio commentary. So that's nice. Alright, let us get into topics, none of which are good. So, on January 1st, I'm sure, wonderful person named Yosuke Matsuda, who is the president and representative director of Square Enix, issued a letter from the president on January 1st. Now, I missed this when it first came out, because they didn't send it to me. You didn't send it to me, Yosuke. The hell, man. Thought we were buds. It hurts, Yosuke. Cuts deep. But I heard people talking about it, so I went and read it. And, Square Enix makes games I like, but this letter makes me not like Square Enix. Oh, man. So, the letter, broadly, is talking about how amazingly awesome stuff like blockchain and NFTs are, and how everyone loves them. In fact, this, one might say, 2021, was the year of the NFT. The year of the metaverse. Heck, it says, I'm paraphrasing, Facebook changed its name to Meta. It did. And yes, this was arguably the largest year yet for things like blockchain and NFT. And companies, such as video game companies, which Square Enix is, looking at this newfangled fun times and saying, how can we monetize that? How can we jam that into our games and make even more money? Nowhere in here does Yosuke mention that everyone hates this shit. When Facebook changed its name to Meta, Facebook was, in the modern parlance, dunked on mercilessly because it was a stupid move that nobody liked. Because it was very clear that Facebook was trying to distance itself from the bad stuff that it does. It's like, if we change our name, no one will notice. sadly, it's something that probably does work in certain contexts. It doesn't go on, it doesn't mention how much people hate blockchain and NFTs. The real world harm that such things can and are causing. No, Yosuke seems pretty damn enamored of this crap. But I would, if I may, and I may because my podcast, I would like to read this paragraph out of the letter. Yosuke gets done talking about blockchain games and how we need to enable self-sustaining game growth and get people to engage with interactive content and motivate them to engage with the interactive content that is self-sustaining. He says, quoting now, "I realize that some people who, quote," and this is actually literally quotes in I'm not quoting, this is Yosuke quoting. "I realize some people who play to have fun and who currently form the majority of players have voiced their reservations towards these new trends, and understandably so. However, I believe that there will be a certain number of people whose motivation is to play to contribute, by which I mean to help make the game more exciting. Traditional gaming has offered no explicit incentive to this latter group of people, who are motivated strictly by such inconsistent personal feelings as goodwill and volunteer spirit. This fact is not unrelated to the limitations of existing user-generated content. User-generated content has been brought into being solely because of individuals' desire for self-expression, and not because any explicit incentive existed to reward them for their creative efforts. I see this as one reason that there haven't been as many major game-changing content that were user-generated as one would expect." And it goes on to talk about how they're really interested in using NFTs to incentivize people to create content for their games. What it really sounds like is Square Enix sat around and thought, what if people paid us to make our games for them? What if gamers gave us money so that the gamers could make a game for us to sell to the gamers? Well, that's garbage. But what really sticks out to me is Yosuke, dear Yosuke, puts "play to have fun" in quotes. I'm not kidding. It literally, he says, "I realize some people who play to have fun." Like, that's this really comes across as this guy genuine. Hey, folks, I don't mean to pee in the punch bowl or anything, but I don't think Square Enix, like the upper management of Square Enix, I don't think it cares about video games. I don't think it likes video games. Like, my friend and yours, Yosuke, doesn't seem to understand why anyone would play video games. To have fun? He also genuinely does not seem to understand the idea of user-generated content. It's like, I've heard of this thing where personal feelings and goodwill and volunteer spirit. What the hell is that? This is, Yosuke, are you a human being? Do you have humanity? I mean, if this were Dark Souls, I'd say look in your inventory, grab one of those humanities and pop, man. And, you know, go Kindle or something. Because you're hollow, Yosuke. You are hollow. You are a dried husk of a human being who needs to pop a humanity and reverse hollow, kindle. What's the proper term? This would be funnier if I could remember the actual terminology from Dark Souls. I don't think Square Enix cares for, likes, or even understands video games beyond people give us money for these dumb things. I hear tell that some people play these games like because they're fun or some weird thing. Because that's kind of weird. We don't make them to be fun. We make them so that you'll keep giving us money after you already gave us money to play the game. You know, through gambling mechanics, fear of missing out, psychological manipulation. With loot boxes and microtransactions and battle passes and limited time events. Video games should be a job for you. Something you feel like you have to do or you'll be missing out on generating money for us. So, I didn't enjoy this letter. And it makes me fearful for the future of Square Enix games. Because while I'm certainly looking forward to Dragon Quest XII or whatever, if it's just full of, if it's chock-a-block of NFTs and loot boxes and microtransactions and all this crap, me personally, not speaking for anyone else here, but I'll skip it. Nintendo, I know you're probably 10 years behind on this, but you pull that crap in Mario, Zelda, Metroid, whatever, I'm not buying it. I realize that some people who play to have fun? Why is that in quotes, Yusuke? Yusuke? Yosuke? I'm sorry. Yosuke. Why is that in quotes? Is that a really genuinely foreign concept to you? President of the company that makes video games? We did market research and found that some people play games to... Check my notes here, put on my glasses. That can't be right. Have fun? I don't get it. Why would you want to do that? So, the whole letter is, that's the paragraph that stuck out the most to me, but the whole paragraph reads like, it comes off as sociopathic. Like this person has absolutely no understanding of human emotions or drive for fun, just for fun's sake. Or the idea that people would just like to create content because it's fun. But it comes across here as like, wait. We can monetize your desire to create content. In fact, we might not even have to make the damn game ourselves if we offer up an NFT. Jesus. I don't like this direction. Now, it's not going to be all games, of course. But it's going to be... My prediction is like DLC, on-disc DLC, multiple collector's editions, DLC announced before the game's even out, season passes, microtransactions, loot boxes, all that stuff that came before. It's going to be the stuff that nobody likes, but they do like the game, and they're willing to put up with a bunch of it's like, let's say I'm a chef and I make meatballs, yummy yummy meatballs, and everyone loves my meatball. I should have picked a different burritos. I make burritos, yummy yummy burritos, and people enjoy the burritos so much that they're willing to pay me money for the burritos I make. And then my analogy breaks down, and for some reason I speckle bits of poop into the burrito. But enough people are just so enamored of how delicious my burritos are that they're willing to put up with a little shit in the burritos. And I keep thinking, at some point, there's going to be too much poop in the burritos, and people will go, okay, that's where I draw the line. There's too much. The ratio of poop to burrito is too off balance. Now I don't want the burrito anymore. I was willing to put up with a little poop in my burrito because, damn, that's a yummy burrito, and I also gotta eat. But at some point, there's just too much poop in the burrito. Is this going to be that amount of poop? I don't know. I guess it's kind of like the frog in the pot of water that you slowly increase the heat on and it never jumps out because it's too gradual or something. I hope no one's actually ever done that experiment. $20 says the frog actually leaves at some point. Don't try that, please. Not nice to frogs. And that's the thing, right? Especially when it's big, popular franchises that people like Call of Duty, or Assassin's Creed, or Halo, or whatever. You know? It's like, I really like God of War, but if God of War Ragnarok has loot boxes, I hate that, but I'm just not going to buy them, and I'll enjoy the game. Granted, there's going to be people harmed by it, and I hate supporting that, but I also don't want to just have no video games to play either. So I get that, but I wonder if at some point there's no game anymore. I don't know. But I don't like this. Square Enix. If I may armchair CEO for a moment, here's my suggestion. Make fun video games, and we gamers will give you money so that we can play them. For fun. That's it. Just make fun video games. That's it. You shouldn't want to say, our customers buy our video games despite all the unpleasant shit we put in them. That's not something to be proud of. But I guess for some people, like our dear friend Yosuke, all that matters is if you're making money. And if you can squeeze a few more dollars, for some reason putting poop in the burrito gets a few more dollars, they're going to stuff as much poop in that burrito as they possibly can until they get all the money. Gotta get all the money. In fact, all the money isn't good enough, as it turns out, because now we're just going into cryptocurrency. Now we're just making shit up. We want all the money, all the real money, and all the fake money, too. Oh well, hope Dragon Quest XII is fun. Did I hear about the virtual real estate bidding game that made over $1 million? No. Chicago, no humanity, only cares about monies. Could have been $1 billion instead of $1 million. Virtual real estate bidding game. Yeah. I don't, no, I didn't. I'm aware of many gaming companies dipping their toes into blockchain type dealios, but I haven't looked into it any further than that because I have no interest. It's like, hey, we're putting blockchain and stuff in our games. I'm like, great, I'm out. So I don't even know how they're doing it yet because it's so repellent to me that I'm like, I will have none of that, thank you. Lonesome Lenny says, been a long time since I played video games. What do you recommend, Xbox or PlayStation? Me personally, I recommend PlayStation over Xbox. As far as games that I want to play, the same game, generally speaking, Xbox and PlayStation have roughly the same libraries. Like, all the third-party games are on both systems. The only place it becomes a problem is on Nintendo's system. That's where some third parties just sometimes don't bother, or if they do, it's a lesser experience. So, when you're picking between PlayStation and Xbox, it comes down to, or rather, it can come down to, and I'll get to that distinction in a minute, it can come down to whose exclusives do you prefer? Me personally, I prefer Sony's. However, there are other people who can't live without Gears of War or Halo. However, and this may be a distinction that you're not interested in, the vast majority of all Xbox exclusives are also available on Windows. You can just get them on PC. So there are very few games that you actually need an Xbox to play, because even some of the Xbox exclusive titles, they're on Windows. You can just get them on PC. Now, you may not want to play them on PC. I'm a console gamer too, so that's something you'd have to factor in. However, another detail that you would have to consider, another consideration, that was the word I was looking for. Another consideration is a service such as Game Pass, which I think most would argue is far superior currently on the Xbox. So, even if you are more akin to PlayStation exclusives, such as God of War, Uncharted, Astro's Playroom, Horizon Zero Dawn and such. Actually, I think that's on PC too. You might say, well, I'm more into Sony's exclusives than Microsoft's, but on the other hand, Game Pass is a hell of a deal. So if you like playing a lot of games, that may be your direction. But if you ask me personally, Andrew, pick Xbox or PlayStation, this generation, I'm still going with Sony. And by this generation, I mean PS4, because I can't get a PS5. And so far, there's nothing on the PS5 that I really want to play that I can't still play on the PS4. There's very few truly PS5 exclusives still. Most of them are still on PS4. So, that's where I'd go with that. Chicago points out what I did a moment ago. Some PlayStation games are moving over to PC also, yeah. Lindy, hello. God of War is also on PC? Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's move to another topic that, not great. So, Dead by Daylight is one of those asynchronous multiplayer games where one player plays the villain who stalks the camp counselors or victims or whomever, and the other four some odd players play the victims that the stalker is stalking. So you've got essentially 5 characters. You've got a villain who stalks victims. One player plays the villain, and 4 players play the victims. Asynchronous multiplayer online game. Great. Fun. Cool. So Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a special villain who was brought into the game at some point. And apparently, there was this thing where the 4 original survivors, if you killed them 25 times, you could wear their face as a mask. You know, like Leatherface does. Neat. So this is from who's the Behavior is the developer from their developer blog, talking about the Leatherface masks. For those who may not know, the cannibal, which is the Leatherface character, can unlock the faces of the 4 original survivors by sacrificing them 25 times. Members of the community have shared their experiences with people targeting and harassing them while using some of these masks. These reports were disheartening to hear, and we absolutely condemn this behavior. We are not comfortable having these masks in the game when they are used as a tool to spread hate. To that end, we will be removing the cannibals' unlockable faces in this upcoming mid-chapter. Anyone who has ever played the cannibal by the release of the mid-chapter update will be awarded 6,000 iridescent shards to compensate for that removal. I don't know what those are or what they do. I'm guessing in-game currency to buy crap. We will not tolerate hateful activity and will continue to take every step necessary to protect the community. Well, that's unfortunate. Both that there are hateful, harassing dipshits in the game, and that some fun content got removed because of it. Now, I don't play Dead by Daylight, so there may be a very good reason, a very good answer to the question I am about to pose. Behavior, developer of game, my question for you is, instead of removing the fun toy that people, I'm assuming some people enjoy, why not remove the abusing, harassing, bigoted dipshits? Right? Oh no! Abusing, harassing, bigoted dipshits are using this item to be abusing, harassing, bigoted dipshits. What to do? What to do? We should remove the item that the abusing, harassing, bigoted dipshits are using to be bigoted, harassing, their abusive, bigoting, whatever I said. And if we remove that item, they will no longer be abusing, harassing, bigoted dipshits. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's not going to work. I imagine that they're just going to find another way to be abusive, harassing, bigoted dipshits. So, again, my question is, instead of removing the prop, which is not the problem, why not remove the players that are? Now, maybe there is a legitimate logistic and technical reason why that's unfeasible. And my sympathies if that is genuinely the case, but that would seem to be the better solution. Yeah? Again, keep in mind that this is not a game I play, so there may be a very good reason why they removed this particular game prop instead of the people who are using it to be harassive dipsticks. Me personally, I'd just remove the harassing dipsticks. Now, it may be they just don't know who that is. Like, they're just getting reports that people are harassing them with this item and they don't know who it is or how to verify it. That's something you should probably figure out, being that this is an online service. Maybe record stuff, maybe have people sit in on stuff. I don't know. Maybe give the players ability to record sessions, or if they already, I mean, you can record your own gameplay anyway, but if you can be shown that people, there's got to be a solution, right? Because it kind of comes across, it's like, well, it's easier for us to just remove a prop than, actually do anything about it. And we don't want to, we don't like abusive, harassive, bigoted dipshits, but, they do pay it. We do make money off of them, so, you know. A little bit of poop in the burrito ain't gonna kill you, right? Chicago says Game Pass is great. PlayStation does have more exclusives, though. Yeah, I agree. As far as exclusives go, I personally, as my taste in games runs, got to give the nod to Sony. If it's between Microsoft and Sony, if it's between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, my nod goes over into the Nintendo direction. However, keep in mind that with Nintendo, you're missing out on a lot of third-party games. Even the ones you're not technically missing out on, they are vastly inferior to their contemporaries. So, just all depends on what's most important to you. Of course, for some people, Lenny says, very cool, thank you. Hey, you're welcome. For some people, the portability of the Switch is like that. I don't care. You know what? I will play Doom Eternal in lesser quality because I can play it in the bathroom or on a train or whatever. Okay. Fair enough. Chicago says, wait, you're not aching for some Astra's Playroom? I hear it's a very good demo of the PS5 controller, so I've actually heard that the Astro's Playroom is actually fun for the couple hours it lasts. It's a well put together little controller demo that's charming and fun, and maybe one day I'll get a PS5 and give it a go. I actually my sister bought me the PS3 years back, and the version she bought me came with Disney Infinity. Disney Infinity 2.0, the one with the Marvel superheroes in it. I've never bothered playing it. I really should, because it's sitting right there. I'm looking at it. Hey, let's try not to get motion sick. We're going on a journey. Oh, shit. Sorry. Didn't have enough slack on the cord there. Hang on. There we go. Sorry. Okay. See over there in the corner? Right there. That's the PS3 box with Disney Infinity 2.0. And there it's been sitting for years. Because I never played it. Because it looks like crap. It looks really, really bad. I should probably play it at some time, though. Behavior. In a perfect world, you would be able and willing to remove the bad players, not the innocuous prop. I understand we don't live in a perfect world, but we should still strive to make it so. Alright, last topic of the night. Also not good. A lot of not good. GameJolt. Anyone know what GameJolt is? Because I just learned about it this week. I'd never heard of it before. GameJolt, so far as I can tell, is a video game portal, storefront, and social community. Something similar to Reverend Werewolf says, one day we'll get a PS5, Andrew. One day. You know what? I probably will get one. I haven't even tried. There's a part of me that's like, it's because it's impossible to get right now, but even if I could just go to Target or whatever and pick one up, I probably wouldn't, simply because there's just currently nothing on the nothing that I want to play that I need a PS5 to play. For example, Lost Judgment. Playing it right now. Loving it. It's on the PS4, so I don't need a PS5. Returnal, not call into me. Was it Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart? I think that was a PS5 exclusive if I'm remembering right. It looks cute, but also not for me. And that's about it. Pretty much every... I mean, is Horizon Zero Dawn 2? Horizon Forbidden Forest? Forbidden West? Forbidden West, right? Is that PS5 exclusive? I don't remember. Also, I still need to play Horizon Zero Dawn 1. Because I have a lot of big games that I'm in the middle of. So anyway, GameJolt, kind of like itch.io, it's a place where people can host their video games and sell them and talk to other people about video games, right? A lot of game developers, indie game developers who had hosted their games on GameJolt, woke up sometime this week to a message that said, "Hello, game developer. We regret to inform you that we will be discontinuing the hosting and distribution of your game or games listed below on GameJolt. As you may have noticed, GameJolt has grown quite a bit in the last few years, and we strive to be mindful of content that may not be suitable for users of all ages, or may be offensive or culturally inappropriate in certain regions. With the above fact in mind, and being aware of where responsibilities lie, we have made the decision to no longer allow content that depicts, solicits, promotes, normalizes, or glorifies sexual acts, sexual solicitation, and sexual violence." And there's more stuff beyond there. This caught a lot of people off guard. They didn't see this coming. They just suddenly had their games delisted. Never a good idea to just spring that on somebody. You should probably, give them some notice to make other arrangements and, make sure you're not making a bad decision here. Let's read what the new decision is again. GameJolt will no longer allow content that depicts, solicits, promotes, normalizes, or glorifies sexual acts, sexual solicitation, and sexual violence. So, is that any game with kissing in it? I mean, because that would be a normalization of a sexual act. Why would you no longer allow content that depicts or normalizes sexual acts? Sexual acts, so long as they're between consenting adults, are normal. Now, according to some people on Twitter, this new ban ended up booting a lot of games that don't have any sexual content in them at all. It also ended up removing a lot of queer content from a lot of times queer creators who don't have it as easy as far as hosting and distribution and stuff as cis developers, because that's the world we live in. Now, that may not have been the intent here at GameJolt, but that was the result. So, how did GameJolt respond to a bunch of game developers saying, "Hey, number one, gee, thanks for the heads up. Number two, my game doesn't fall under this thing. And number three, do you understand the ramifications of the effect that you're having here?" GameJolt's response that I saw on Twitter was very dismissive and snarky and included a lot of animated GIFs. Like, it really was not taking this stuff seriously at all, which is pretty insulting, I would think. Granted, I didn't have any games there that were taken down, but let me see if I can find an example here. Well, let's see. Yeah, well, it's me describing what it is doesn't there's a lot of okay and maybe and with a little gif of some dude yelling I'm an adult. Yeah, just some really childish garbage, unprofessional and dismissive and kind of insulting, I think. And I found this kind of funny because I looked at the site guidelines, and the site's guidelines, which haven't changed in a while, I didn't look back that far, but I looked back and it appears they haven't changed much, but GameJolt already has an adult content guideline. It says, do not post, upload, live stream, or share content that is pornographic, sexually explicit, or contains gore of an illicit or realistic nature. Okay, well, I mean, you already ban porn and sexually explicit material, so why the need to ban anything that depicts or normalizes sex? To be clear, I'm not saying GameJolt can't do that. It can. It's its platform. It can allow or disallow any content it wants for any reason, regardless of how arbitrary it is, if it so chooses. It's its platform. So one of the things that GameJolt did come back with was, let me see if I can find it. GameJolt says, this isn't our decision. Our users wanted these games gone. GameJolt has a large audience of 13 to 16-year-olds, and they've been vocal about not wanting this content on their platform. So, GameJolt is saying that we've made this change. We're no longer allowing the depiction or normalization of sex in our games, among and other stuff. Because the 13 and 16-year-olds said they don't want any games with sex in them. That's right. We've got a very large audience of 13 to 16-year-old human beings who really, really do not want to see any discussions or depictions of anything sexual. No sirree, Bob. And hands are tied when the 13 to 16-year-olds tell you that they're not at all interested in anything sexual. What can you do? GameJolt. I don't know you, but hi, I'm Andrew. I don't believe you. At all. I think you're lying. You're telling me that 13 to 16-year-olds are telling you that they don't want that icky sex in their video games? I don't believe you. At all. I have no proof of this, but I think you're lying. You remember a couple months ago when OnlyFans, a site known predominantly for sexual content, said, oh, by the way, we're going to stop doing that? It's like, oh, great. One of the few safe-ish places for sex work just got thrown out. Good job, guys. And then they said something about how, like, oh, well, we didn't want that. That's like, no one said that. And then it really looked like it was the fact that they were trying to make partnerships with some payment providers and banks and stuff that they themselves were uncomfortable with sexual content, so they were kowtowing to them, regardless of the impact on actual real people. And then they walked that back because it was... well, not because it was shitty, but because people yelled at them for being shitty. I'm guessing that's what's going on here. Again, I'm guessing. I don't know. My guess is that GameJolt has the opportunity to partner with payment providers or banks, or maybe expanding their service into other countries, or investors who are squeamish about anything sexual, particularly if it's queer. And that's why they made the change. Not because post-puberty teenagers are real squicky about naughty bits in their video games. You know, like is really... If 13, 14, 15, and 16-year-old kids are known for anything, it is their complete aversion to porn. Teenagers hate nudity and sex. Man, there is nothing that just irritates teenagers more than nudity and sex. Get those out of my entertainment options, gall darn it to heck. Not interested in that stuff, no sirree, Robert. I don't believe you, GameJolt. Doesn't mean I'm right, but I think you're lying. I have no proof of that. But your assertion that 13 to 16-year-olds en masse are complaining about naughty content in some of the video games? Prove it. Show me your receipts, GameJolt, because I don't believe you. And GameJolt's sitting there like, we don't care about you, weird person on the internet. Who the hell are you, and why would we care? You don't, but for what it's worth, I don't believe you. And, furthermore, for what it's worth, GameJolt did walk this back a little bit, saying that we'd like to apologize to you, game devs who we unceremoniously yanked your games off of our service, for the way we've handled this process over the last few days. We appreciate how stressful this has been. While the roots of GameJolt have been around hosting independent games, the site has actually grown to become more of a social media platform for the next generation of gamers, and we've had to make decisions about the direction and future of the brand, which has now included the removal of hosted games with explicitly adult content. Unfortunately, in the process, we didn't consider or provide any opportunity for you to migrate your game and community elsewhere. Additionally, we miscategorized some games incorrectly and didn't provide a transparent process to appeal this decision. Ultimately, we're actually a very small team that's doing the best we can, but in this instance, we messed up the process, and again, we're genuinely sorry. That's nice. Some people on Twitters contacted GameJolt and offered suggestions of, like, well, what about a kids section or an adults only section or relevant tags? You know, so you can sequester off content that you as a consumer may be uncomfortable with. Fair questions. GameJolt was similarly snarky and dismissive towards such a commentary, at least the ones I saw. So, to me, again, I have no proof of this, but to me, it really comes across that GameJolt is trying to court money people who are uncomfortable with sexy stuffs. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know if that is the case, but it's what it looks like. And unfortunately, it gets rid of a lot of games that visual novels that talk about consent, which is a good thing to talk about. But that's a depiction of sexual. Tangentially, at least, sexual stuff. Hey, remember that game I played, like, within the last year? I think it's called One Night Stand, if I'm remembering correctly. It's a kind of a point-and-click adventure game. It's about you wake up in someone else's bed, and it's very awkward, and you have to decide, do I just grab my pants and run out the front door? Do I try to talk to the person that I woke up with? Do I take a picture of her butt and mail it to my friend? No, you don't do that. No, you do not do that. that's a fun, cute, charming little game. And it's a really interesting little narrative adventure to an awkward situation that I imagine a lot of people have found themselves in at one point or another. It's probably a very relatable game for a lot of people. A game like that, according to GameJolt, let me scroll back up here. No depiction or normalization of sexual acts. That game would be gone. Is there any nudity in that game? No. Is there any explicit sexual content in the game? No. Is there any actual sex in the game? No. But it's about a one-night stand, at least the aftermath of one. Bad form, GameJolt. You are allowed to host or not host any game you want for any reason, no matter how arbitrary. I want to make that very clear. It's why I said it again. But, that said, do better. Money's important. You need it to eat. You need it to live. I understand that. But people are important too. And from what I've seen, someone who just learned about your site, so take that as it will, you don't seem to care about people much. Just money. I would ask you to care about both. Because both are important. And seen. So, Chicago says, were those 60-year-olds pretending to be 14-year-olds? Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I see stuff like that a lot where I see, trying to think of some examples, but I've had this issue before where a company will say, oh, well, this demographic, you know, or these gamers have all told us that they think this. I'm like, really? Really? I find that really hard to believe. You know? I don't believe you. And I'm trying, you know, there's this one where, oh, well, teenagers don't like the sexy sex. I find that very hard to believe, GameJolt. In fact, I don't believe you at all. But I've seen other companies say similar things. It's like, oh, gamers tell us that they love loot boxes. No, they don't. I don't believe you. Gamers tell us that if we didn't, you know, stuff our games full of microtransactions, they wouldn't buy them. I don't believe you. Now, these last two things are not specific examples, but it's stuff along those lines where a company justifies doing something that it would seem that everyone would hate by saying, no, everyone loves this. That does not seem to be the case. Now, going by your gut is like one of the worst things you can do in a lot of cases, especially as far as ferreting out what is true or what is accurate. The gut is very unreliable. But I'm not just using my gut here. You know? I have this feeling that teenagers actually do like sex. And like talking about sex. And reading about sex. And filling their eyeballs with depictions of sex. That's not just a gut feeling. That's demonstrable. There's actual evidence to support that. Which is why I say, when you say that teenagers are like, I love video games, but I don't like sex. I imagine there are probably some, sure. But even really boring people like me who... Okay, let me embarrass myself here. Or I guess I should embarrass myself, but I have no shame, so... I'm very shy, but I have no shame. It's weird. When people kiss in a movie, I act like a 12-year-old, and I go, ugh. And I, like, scrunch up my face, and I turn away, and I'm like, stop kissing, it's gross. I don't want kissing in my movie. Or if I'm reading a book and people start smooching, I'm like, when are they going to stop? Okay, you know? I did 4 pages, holy crap. That's some prose right there. So I am actually a really boring, prudish person who genuinely really doesn't like depictions of sex and physical affection in media because it just squicks me out. I don't have a problem with sex or physical affection. I just don't want to watch it. It's like, I don't have a problem with pooping. I do it myself. But I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch me poop, let alone watch you or anyone else poop. No offense. I'm sure you poop with aplomb. I don't want to watch it. It's gross. It's perfectly natural, and I don't begrudge you pooping. I still don't want to watch it. But you know what? I'm not asking that you stop poop. Stop pooping. Everyone stop pooping! I don't like it. So everyone should stop. You know what? My analogies could probably use some work. But as much as I get squicky around physical displays of affection in media I'm otherwise enjoying, I don't ask that media stop doing that. You know, if it bothers me that much, I can just, watch something else. That's a thing I can do. I can't think of a single video game that has ever had content that genuinely surprised me. Oh my god, I didn't know there was gonna be blood or gore or shooting in this video game. That's literally never happened to me. Ever. Games are pretty upfront as to what they are. I cannot think of a single example, despite, various pundits and politicians lying about this shit 10-some years ago, how video games would, hide that kind of content way into the back end of the game. Like, you'd be playing something like Mario Galaxy or whatever, colorful, cartoony, happy video game, and you'd be playing it for 14 hours, and then suddenly, Mario would strip naked, rip open a Goomba's mouth, and crap down his gullet. Ew! What the hell? I had no idea that such scatological, disgusting content would be in my Mario game? That's literally never happened. Ever. I have never heard of anyone being surprised by particular types of content way late in a game. Because that's not how that works. Maybe the sex scenes in Last of Us 2 caught someone off guard. Certainly the Abby and Owen sex scene caught me off guard, but that caught me off guard because it didn't make any narrative or character sense to me. The one between names Ellie and Dina, that one worked. That one was expected. That one made sense from a character and a narrative standpoint. Owen and Abby, though, I was like, what? Why? So, but still, already an M-rated game where you murder people. So, I mean, you got some weird hang-ups. If you've been bashing people if you've been stabbing people in the throat for 15 hours, and then you see, I cannot make this clear enough, non-explicit sex, like seriously, their waists are below the bottom of the camera frame. You can't see anything. Well, I'm, you know, okay, I would also rather watch people get stabbed in the throat, but I don't know. I still don't think GameJolt. I think GameJolt is lying, and I don't think it handled this properly. Do as little harm as you can. Preferably none. But, you know, try to minimize harm. You know, it's like introducing the automobile. People are going to die. They are. People are going to get hit. People are going to crash. People are going to die. But people are also going to live because of automobiles. Because automobiles also include emergency service, like ambulances and fire trucks. There are people who are alive because of vehicles. You know? Driving organs from one place to another to those who need them. You know, it's not just a matter of convenience. Automobiles can save people's lives too. But the introduction of automobiles do actually end up killing people. So should we not do it? No. But we should minimize the damage as much as we can. We should make them as safe as we possibly can with steel reinforced sides, crumple-resistant passenger areas, engines that auto shut off when you get into an accident, seat belts, airbags, that weird foam stuff in Demolition Man. Why is that not here yet? You know, the thing that turns the inside of the car into a cannoli when it crashes. Of course, people would probably crash on purpose at least once, just to try that one out. There was a music video back. I forget what it was. I think Edward Furlong was in it. I forget which song it is, but he and a friend deliberately crash a car into a wall, and you know, they both hit the airbags and survive and get out and like high five each other. I don't know, Pearl Jam song or something like that. See if anyone in the audience knows what the hell I am talking about. Chaos is clearly an awkward moment to check in. Yes, because I don't. You know what's funny is Chaos. There's like 5 different things that you could have just clicked in on. And you could be responding to, like, several different things. Oh, look at that. And I was worried that I wouldn't have an hour's worth of content. Oh, me of little faith. So, tomorrow, Sunday stream time. Oh, was it Guns N' Roses? I don't remember. Do I have Eddie Furlong right? Was it that actor? Because I can remember that portion of the music video. They're in a car and they just drive into a brick wall and they get out and they're like high-fiving. Like, yeah, we rammed a car into a brick wall. Anyway, I'm old. So, tomorrow, Sunday stream, we are continuing on through the very foggy Roland in Trails in the Sky, second chapter. For those of you who don't know, this month, all the Sunday streams in January are going to be Trails in the Trails. It was the poop thing, Chaos. Okay. Which poop thing? Because I went on 3. I went on 3 completely different scatological tears. Maybe it was Aerosmith. That, you know, possibly. Yeah, I don't remember. So I said Pearl Jam. Chaos is guessing Guns N' Roses or Aerosmith. Both do the type of music that I can kind of hear accompanying what I have in my mind. Anyway, so all the Sunday streams this month will be Trails in the Sky because I would like to, you know, not start any new games until I complete some of the ones that I'm playing. Although interestingly, I didn't play any video games this week. I need to get on that. I was busy reading, so I was actually reading, if you've watched my content for a while, oh, you think it was Living on the Edge? Living on the edge, you can't stop yourself from falling. Living on the edge, you can't stop yourself at all. Yeah. Don't know, but yeah, I know the song. Steven Tyler. They still doing stuff? I don't know. What was I saying? Oh, 5 years ago or so, I did a series of videos called 30 Days of Comics, where I got a month free trial to Comixology, and each day I read an issue or so of a new comic, and it's kind of like debut review. I just read the first couple issues and talked about what I thought. Chaos says, I bought an Xbox Series X and still haven't hooked it up. Busy with work. I feel that. I've been there before, where you get a new toy and you don't play with it because you're busy. Life. Ow. So one of the comics I reviewed on from Comixology on day 26 or whatever it was, I could probably look it up and give you all a link if you care. Let's see. Holy crap! It was 26. Wow. Good job, me. So there you go. If anyone's interested. So one of the comics I read was Empowered by Adam Warren, and I really quite enjoyed it. I thought it was charming and funny and fun, and I looked forward to reading more. Well, that day has finally come, and pardon me, for the last week I've been reading the entire series, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a ton of fun, and continued to be cute and charming and smartly written and funny and engaging and even emotional and poignant. So I'm looking forward to whenever Adam Warren finishes volume 12 or whatever the hell he's working on. So very cool. Oh, I also just found out that he's been posting the he's got a site, empoweredcomic.com or something like that, where he's actually posting the entire series page by page, day by day, and with commentary. And I'm a big behind-the-scenes dork, so I'm reading the whole thing again so I can read the artist and author commentary, which I'm getting quite a kick out of, seeing his insights into what he thinks of his art 10 years ago, why he chose to do things the way he did, things like that. I love that stuff. So so there we go. All right, that is it for me tonight. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you're all having a lovely weekend, and I hope you'll join me tomorrow for the Sunday stream, noon o'clock Pacific Standard Time, for some more Trails in the Sky, second chapter. Hope to see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.